You work at the laundry?
Part-time from when I was 7, full-time from when I was 12.
We meet Mondays and Thursdays if you're interested.
You a suffragette, Mrs. Elliot?
I consider myself more of a soldier. As Mrs. Pankhurst says, it's deeds, not words, that will get us the vote.
It's great timing because feminism and women's rights has become such a huge part of the conversation at the moment. And I think that's sort of part of the reason that the film was finally sort of put together and made, is because that this was becoming something that people were really engaging with. And I think, you know, the main purpose of the film was to make it relevant to today, that it didn't feel like a documentary. It wasn't just saying, this happened, and isn't it great? It was saying, this happened 100 years ago, this is where we've come, and this is how much further we still have to go.
Exercise judgment in political affairs.
If we allow women to vote, it will mean the loss of social structure.
That was a big surprise, the violence. One of the things that was most surprising, as well as the force feeding and the hunger striking, was in 2003 they released a lot of documents, and we discovered that the police used surveillance on the women, and that was the first time that we used surveillance in our country. So these women were followed and photographed and tracked, which just felt so current, felt so sort of relevant to today, that this was something they were doing 100 years ago, and that these women were such a threat that they felt that they needed to do that was sort of fascinating.
We break windows. We burn things, because war's the only language men listen to.
Were you surprised to learn, you know, at the end of the film it comes up, you know, when other countries got the vote, like, for example, Switzerland?
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Especially someone like Switzerland. Unfortunately, the Saudi Arabia the date line wasn't a bit surprising, and that's very common knowledge, but Switzerland was a surprise. But also, you know, there's a whole other list that could come after that, talking about women's rights in other ways, not just the vote, but talking about 62 million girls being denied an education right now, and 1 in 3 women experiencing sexual violence somewhere in the world. So, you know, the vote has been realised in lots of countries, in most countries, but there are many other parts of society for women that is just completely unequal and still very imbalanced.
We will win.
I take my love, take it down.
Never surrender. Never give up the fight.
In the snow covered hills.